Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back. So guys, as part of the today's session, let us see a brief overview on the conditional statements. So what exactly this conditional statements is? Guys, basically if certain condition is true, then perform this execution. If certain condition is a false, then perform this execution. So the ultimate point here is conditional statements are the statements that are used in this particular programming world in order to continue the script execution, in order to execute some portion of the code based on a certain condition. If the condition outcome is a true, execute these logics. If the condition outcome is a false, execute this set of a logic like that. You can define these conditional statements. If else, this is the key thing that we are gonna use here. So let us create a directory with the name as a day2. Okay, as part of the day2, one script. Okay, one script dot js. So here I'm gonna talk about more about this conditional statements. Okay, I'm gonna talk more about this conditional statements as part of this program. Okay, so here the extension, if you look at it, the s isn't added out over there, so it's gonna be one.js. Okay, so I haven't added the extension properly. Perfect. Now here, conditional statements. If. For the if, ideally, we will pass on the condition. If the condition output is true, then only the logic present inside, okay, then only the logic present inside the block will be executed. If the logic output is false, it won't execute the content present in that particular code. Consider that where emp id is equal to 101. Okay, 101. If what I am doing, emp id is greater than 100. If this employee ID is greater than 100, then only employee ID is greater than 100 should be printed down. Perfect. Let me try to run this program and check it out. See, basically, if you look at this, let me save. Let me run. See here, employee ID is greater than 100 got a printed down. But for suppose, if my employee ID is 11, okay, my employee ID is 11, this condition isn't true. So it's not gonna execute that logic. So as this condition outcome is a false, it's not executing this logic. But for us, we don't know whether it got executed or not. So that's the reason. Ideally, for the if block, we will be adding an else block also. If the condition is true, the code present in the if block will be executed. Okay, if the condition is true, code present in the if block will be executed, will be executed. If the condition is a false, then the code present in the else block would be executed. That's what the significance of this if else is. Ideally, for any if you add an else block means either of these, if or else, would be executed. So to the previous program, else what I am doing here is console.log employee ID is less than or equal to 100. So this time let me save it, and when I run this program, see here employee ID is less than 100. If you observe, among these if and else, only one is being executed at a time, only one being executed, whether an if condition or an else. So basically the code present in the if or a else. In a simple terms, we can say that if the condition is true, then your JavaScript won't go to the else block. It will complete its execution in the if itself. Okay, perfectly all right. So this is a simple example, right? So what I'm doing here is, let me define a variable where a equal to 5, b equal to 20, c is equal to 10. Okay, so I have a defined three variables. I want to define a multiple conditions in the if block. It's not like just we can define only one condition. If A greater than B and A greater than C. The meaning is if the value present in A is greater than B and a greater than C, then we can call it as A is bigger. Else B is bigger, else C is bigger. See, my copilot has given me this code base for me. The second one is else if the first condition got executed successfully, then it will not go to the further else basically. As and when the first condition got a failed, then only it will be moving back to the else block, and then in the else block it will check this condition again, the last one also. So here for the last one we don't have an if. The reason is we have a b c three numbers. Among the three numbers, if a is not a big, b is not a big, then definitely c is the last one which is a big. That's the reason for the last block we have given it as an else directly. Instead, we would write like in this way. Okay, we would write it like in this particular way. Else if C greater than A and C is greater than B, like that you can write it in this way, or you no need to add an if condition at this particular one. The reason is you have only three numbers. Among the three numbers, the first one and the second one is not the first. Definitely the third one is gonna be the first. The same way here, A is not big, B is not big, definitely the C is gonna be the big. So that's it. So this is the way how exactly you can define a multiple conditions using an AND operation. We know that as part of the previous session we have seen an AND. We can also use an R depending on our requirement. You can use an AND R. So let me try to run this particular program. Okay, let me try to run this program. Save this code once. Save this code. Clear it up. Run it. And let us see. B is the greatest one that it got printed. Perfectly all right. So the script executed successfully. And here guys, one more thing that we need to consider is not only in this way, you can also define one condition after another condition. So consider that, okay, consider that if, okay, if, first of all, we need to define, right, where student marks is equal to 94. Consider that I have defined it. Okay, 94. If student marks greater than or equal to 90, okay, if the student marks are greater than or equal to 90, console.log grade A. And here, inside the grade A, what I am doing here is where math marks is equal to 98, and here what I am doing is if math marks greater than 95, then console.log, okay, then console.log student is excellent in maths. That's what I have defined. Okay, that's what I have defined. If you observe, they will be checking the first condition, and if the first condition is true, then it will go and it will check the second condition. Okay, then it will go and it will check the second condition. It's not required that you need to define the math marks here in line number 29. You can put it here also. It's up to you where exactly and how exactly you want to organize your code in such a way you can perform this particular operations. Okay, perfect. So this is the way how exactly we can use a conditional statements. On a summary, I can say that these conditional statements are used to perform certain conditional checks. If that condition is true, execute it. If that condition is false, execute this one. I can say that if students if student reached the campus before 9 a.m., open the door. If student reached the campus after 9 a.m., close the door. So it's gonna be if and a else. If this condition is a true, then execute this logic. If this condition is not a true, then execute this particular logic. Okay, perfectly all right. See you again in the next lecture. Bye bye.